because we think each and every one of you is going to change the world in a profound way. So my goal for this launch is to introduce you back again to the hero's journey. Now I'd like to first play a clip from the movie Braveheart, and as you watch it, ask yourself two questions. First, what makes William Wallace different than everyone else? And secondly, how would it feel to be the person who ran from this fight? We're going to talk about what it means to run from a fight instead of staying to fight. And as we prepare this clip, how many of you ever get tired of being bossed around by somebody older? Raise your hand if you've ever gotten tired. Older brother, coach, parent. Okay, so you want your freedom, right? But freedom has to be earned. And so as you watch this, ask yourself what makes William Wallace different, and how would it feel to be the person who ran away instead of staying to fight for their freedom? So let's watch this and we'll come back. Today's going to be a shakedown cruise, and you guys will find me on a shakedown cruise.
Again, homage to Scotland. And the message of your army. Why does it go? We didn't come here to fight for that. Oh, there's too many. Sons of Scotland. I am William Wallace. William Wallace is 7 feet tall. Yes, man. Kills men by the hundreds. And if he were here, he could soon the English with fireballs from his eyes, and bolts of lightning from his arms. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. Free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Yes, that. No. We will run. And you will live. Die. Fight and you may die. Run. You'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds, many years from now, when you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that, for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
So what makes William Wallace different? Why is he different than everyone else? Dave.
Well, he's not going to run. He's going to stand up for what he thinks is right. He's not going to just cower behind it.
Why do you think he's like that?
I don't know.
Pardon?
It's a chance.
Why is he want a chance? What makes him take the chance when no one else in the crowd will? Does everyone want freedom? Why won't the other people in the crowd stand up? Lillian?
Because they're afraid that they'll die and they want to live, but he believes in his country and he thinks that this will be right. He's listening to train.
So fear of death is keeping them, we said that they're charge. And one guy says, I'd rather run and live another day. I'd rather run and live another day. Mason Gibson?
It's pretty much the same thing William said. He's not afraid to die for freedom.
So what would it feel like to be the person who ran? You chose life, you didn't die, and you lived to see another day. Deuce.
Cool if everybody died at the fight on a team, then the weight of having that on your conscience would be a lot. That you left everybody, they were like, well, everybody knew to just die in the fight and we couldn't be there.
Why do you think Navy SEALs and people that fight in the military fight? Do they fight for their country,
Yes.
or do they fight for the people in their squad?
I think they fight for the people in the squad. I think they fight for both, but in the moment, when they're fighting for the squad, because it's like the squad is kind of like family to them. They work with each other, and they do a lot with each other, and they have each other's backs. And if you run and let your squad die, then that would just
Grace?
I think on your point of how you felt if you ran, it'd be both ways. If you ran and they won, you'd feel like a coward because you didn't stay there and fight and would have won. If they died, then basically to Deuce's point, you'd feel horrible because you couldn't have been there to help. It's only one person, but you would have felt a lot better.
Sure.
I agree with Deuce and Pace. Chris Kyle wrote that he has a list of 3 most important things, and it's God, and country, and family. But country and family switch a lot, and their squads are like family, and they have a saying, no man left behind, even if they're killed. They have to go back and find the body. So you're really fighting for your squad in the moment, but overall, in a deployment or in your lifetime, that part of your life fighting, you're fighting for your country.
So now that we're a bigger group, so there will be 24 of us, we're going to have to split at times into teams of 12, into discussion groups of 8, into squads, the groups you're sitting with, and even running partners. And so there'll be competition. Even today there's going to be competition. And you may fight hard for your squad or for your discussion group, but never forget that we're all fighting together for one thing, and it's really for your hero's journey, for your freedom. So we're going to be interesting to see over these next 2 weeks. Our biggest goal in the next 2 weeks is to form as a team, as a squad. It'll take risk for each other. So I have a very hard question for you. Raise your hand if you're brave enough to admit when you came to school today you were a little bit nervous. Anybody nervous? It took courage just to walk in here, particularly if you're a newbie. But it took courage for everybody to walk in. New people, a new place, we have a new guide, and so it took a lot of courage to make that first step. We're all going to be working on courage and forming hard as a team and unit. And the most important rule today, have fun. We're going to do a lot of really fun things. Before we do that, we're going to start that fun in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I have 3 things I would like to go over with you to give you a preview of what the year is going to look like and why it's important. When we talk about this squad, the first thing I want to put up is a plaque. This is kind of a funny plaque, so I'm going to show you the normal plaque. Why do people have plaques, by the way? What's the purpose for having a plaque? Jack?
remember.
To remember. To remember what?
To remember the courage that they stood up to and
No.
the excellence that they.
You're on this plaque, right? Yeah. Yeah, these are the very first founding Eagles that we had. The courage to kind of be part of a first group. So it took courage. What are the reasons to have a plaque? What are the reasons?
To honor people for doing something great.
Yeah. So people will come back if this school does what we think this school is going to do. And I don't think I told you guys yet, but we even been talking to Saul Kahn. He may start an Acton Academy next door at Kahn Academy. We're talking about starting 10 more Acton Academies model for Acton academies all over the world. So it's to remember and to honor people that have worked hard. So here's the plaque from last year. Let me show you the plaque from this year. And we made a mistake last year. Here's the plaque for this year. This is my little sticky putty stuff I use to put stuff on the wall. We'll see if it works. Here's the plaque for this year. What's the difference? What's the difference, Garrett?
One has names, and I think you're gonna have to earn on that.
Yeah, we made a mistake last year. If you count, there's 14 names on here. There's only 12 returning Eagles. 2 people, great people actually, students that I think are going to turn out to be heroes, didn't want to pay the price to be here. The price of hard work, courage. Jack, what's our motto? Fun and hard. We're going to work really hard at times. We're going to have a lot of fun. We made a mistake of putting people's name on the plaque at the beginning of the year. This year, we're going to put your name on the plaque at the end of the year. So you're going to have to decide if you want to pay the price of bravery and hard work and have a lot of fun. So that's kind of the first thing is there's our plaque for the year. The plaque at the end of the year will look nicer than this, and you'll be the very first Eagles to come through the new classroom, and you'll be on this flag, on the new plaque forever. But you're going to have to earn your spot. Last year we made a mistake. Second thing, a preview of the year for you. What are we going to do this year? And I'm going to ask you the question after I do this. Which part are you most excited about? So as you go through, here's a preview of what we're going to do. And what's the overarching question for the year? Anybody remember?
What motivates a hero?
What motivates a hero? It's all about motivation. And I read about motivation all summer. And if you look at all, well, you can't see it from here, but when we break, around the corner there's a whole list of motivation heroes and questions. You know what the most fascinating is? Nobody knows the answer to motivation. There's probably 30 different theories. And we're going to explore them, and you're going to come up with your take on what motivates a hero. So the first session, after these first 2 weeks that we were getting ready, we're going to work on what motivates you. You're going to create a personal learning plan that are your goals for the year and things like core skills and quests and personal goals. So we'll work for a few weeks to put that together. We're going to have a motivation debate. You're going to pick a motivation hero, and we're going to learn the rules of debate. And you're going to get up at the end of these 5 weeks, in these 6 weeks, and we're going to have a real debate in front of people. So, Nikita, you might be debating, you might be Skinner and behaviorism, and Lillian might be defending Young and the fact that it comes from deep inside our archetypes, and you guys will get up and you'll fight over which one of those is right about motivating a hero. And we'll provide you with the tools so you can fight. We'll also have a ranch trip, and we'll do some motivation experiments that you guys can come up with. And so you'll learn about motivation heroes, people that have studied motivation, and debating skills. Session 2 and 3, what motivates others? That's going to be a whole session on entrepreneurship. You're going to end up creating a best-selling book that is your advice to parents and other students like you about something. There's going to be some sort of what parents need to know about Eagles and their hero's journey. What a teenager needs to know about learning independently. So you guys will pick the titles. You'll come together, you'll figure out writing the book, you'll learn to write it, and you'll learn how to sell it. So by the end of session 2 and 3, you're going to sell a Christmas book. You're going to see how many books you can sell. You'll learn how to self-publish as an author. You'll have the tools and skills to write your own books and publish. We'll also do a very cool experiment on the American Revolution. We'll have an entrepreneurship. We'll learn how to start your own business as part of this, and the children's business fairs. That's session 2 or 3. You're learning writing, self-publishing, about entrepreneurship heroes, and about the founding fathers. Session 4, the big question, big or small, which motivates you. Does it make you feel better to think that you are really small, a gigantic universe full of quasars and black holes and galaxies as far as you see? Does that make you motivated? Or does it make you motivated to think you're really big in a world of atoms and tiny microscopic creatures? So we're going to study the very big and small things to see which one motivates you the most. We're going to build rockets and shoot them up and see who can build the best rocket. We're going to do microscopes and chemistry experiments. Some of you might even blow a few things up by accident. So in all of these, for those of you that didn't in Acton Academy, everything's a challenge, everything's a quest, everything has points. So there'll be points to try to figure out, can you build the best chemical rocket? Can you build the best water rocket? Can you build the best rocket that actually uses an igniter, electricity, and propellant? Same thing with chemistry. That's session 4. Session 5, how do you motivate explorers, inventors, and innovators? And I'll ask the question of what's different about those. We'll get to that. But the people who've really built the world, scientists, entrepreneurs, inventors, you'll find your favorite creative hero, your favorite scientific advance, and here's what's really cool. The ultimate Rube Goldberg advice. Does anybody know who Rube Goldberg is?
Yes.
Does anybody know who? Anaya, who's Rube Goldberg?
Rube Goldberg was this guy, I don't know much about him, but I know he made this machine that's like a domino effect, and when you knock something over, a bunch of things happen, like chemical reactions, and it leads to one big goal.
We create big devices to do small tasks. So you put a tennis ball on the thing that would knock something down, which would make something else move to do a small simple task.
So what we're going to do is, each of you is going to pick your favorite innovation, invention, or something where an explorer has discovered something new. And you're going to model it. And I'll give you one example. You might pick Darwin and evolution. And using dominoes that fall, ever seen when you knock one domino and it knocks more dominoes? You might show how a species changes over time as the pictures change and as the species. So that would be one thing to do. That's your experiment. Each of you are going to have an experiment, and we're going to put them all together. So we're going to have 40 experiments tripping one after another, and we're going to video it for YouTube. So you'll show your one experiment and why it's important and what you learned from it on a little video, and then we'll show all 40 of them firing off one at a time in a giant Rube Goldberg device, and put it to music and film, and we'll probably rely on Mason to help us. And so that's session 5. So you'll learn about scientific heroes and entrepreneurship heroes, YouTube filming, hands-on experiments. Session 6, the last session, which will be the beginning of the summer, finding and securing your apprenticeship. We're moving that apprenticeship a little further out in the year than we did last year. And an independent project that you can build and sell. So there's the year of what we're going to do together and what we're going to explore. Sarah kind of makes you tired just to think about it, doesn't it?
I think everyone's tired.
So we got a big year ahead of us. Last thing before we break, and I'll tell you the first fun thing we're going to do together. Just a sense. Oh yeah, where? Oh, sorry,
You just said yes.
Oh yeah, okay. So this will be hanging up in the room, and you can look at it and kind of get a sense of where we're going. The last piece is just thinking about. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm actually putting this. Sorry. Which one of these is most exciting? Which one's most exciting? Which one do you like the best? Who has been a Kinsey?
Building a rocket.
Why?
Because I've always kind of been into building things in chemistry, and it just sounded
Cool. Hayes.
I too bound to writing and selling a bestseller book. I just mainly want to do selling because I've always wanted to sell something, and I think that would be a lot of fun and a new experience that I'm having.
Do you think you'll sell door to door at some place like a mall or over the internet?
Both.
So you may do several of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, interesting. Deuce.
I think what motivates me, because I don't know yet, and I really like to know what motivates me.
Oh, you want to know? You want to learn what motivates you personally? We're going to be asking that question all year long, basically.
It's really hard to follow those really fun. I think everything we're going to be doing in session 5 is going to be awesome. The entire.
Think about each of you. We're going to have, what, 24 different experiments. We're going to learn about the hero and the experiment itself and be able to teach each other and watch. Charlie.
I can't wait for the apprenticeship. I have a really fun apprenticeship that I can't wait to ask for.
Claire.
Mine's the Rube Goldberg machine because I've seen like a bunch of YouTube videos
Garrett?
I think I have to say the apprenticeship because it's going to be my first time, and it's going to look, and I think it's just going to be so fun.
So an example of how to tie what excites you and what excites Deuce is even early on, personal learning plan, we're going to be asking, what are your top 3 apprenticeships now? What ideas? You may just have to, you may say astronaut, deep sea diver, or who knows what they are. You may just make some up. But that way, as we're going through the rest of the year, you can be experimenting with apprenticeships. We'll be doing My HJ again, which is My Hero's Journey, where you explore. And that's a good segue into what we're going to be doing for the Hero's Journey.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
For the students who've already done My HJ, are we going to do it again? For new students that are going to do it?
I'm just a guy, so I'm not answering
We're all
questions.
no.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question.
We're not doing that again.
I know, we already.
That's a really good question. All right, so last thing before we break. Here's the 4 big questions of the hero's journey. We'll come back to these all year long. Who am I? In other words, what are my greatest gifts? Where do I find joy and flow? Where do I lose myself at something that's hard? And how do I find an opportunity and justice that calls out to me? And the intersection of all of those helps me start to go on my hero's journey. Second question is, what promises must be made and kept? We're going to work a lot on rules of engagement you guys are going to come up with. By the way, the rules that have been set for now, the consequences you guys set up, were drawn off of the votes you made. The only one that you didn't vote for, that you didn't at least have a lot of votes for, was to take off your shoes. I'll just tell you, we had to do that one because there is a question about how much noise is downstairs. So for the first 2 weeks, we need to test for the elementary schoolers how loud it is and let's quit popping around. And then we may revisit the shoes thing. So that's the only one you didn't vote for. We just have to test it because if we're making a lot of noise up here, we've got to see if we move quietly enough that we can wear shoes and not bother them. Jack?
Are you allowed to tell us what happens with the music? I know that was a big thing for me this year.
I'm just a guide, so I can't tell you. I will tell you that you'll be working out and how you will earn different things with the council and with you guys as we work the next few weeks, how different things will evolve. So we started out with a set of things you voted for, where it was a tie. We took the harder one, because we were going to start out hard and then get easier. And so there'll be votes. It'd be an interesting question. How does music motivate you? Can we measure the effect music has? Maybe a good experiment to run. Okay.
What about council?
I'm a
We
guy at
need
race.
to
I
vote. We
can't.
need to have, Friday will be the speeches and the voting. We just need to set that up very fast. Because a lot of times what we do is we set it up and then it doesn't happen for a couple of weeks because we just keep
Charlie,
forgetting.
there's a schedule, so.
Oh,
I was
It's your classroom. You guys run. You guys run this classroom. It's your classroom, and you have a lot of say-so. We'll be turning over more and more things to you. One of the questions to raise about how quickly to vote for council is, if we had to vote today, who would like to get elected? One of the new incoming Eagles or someone who's been here? Hayes?
Because new students that came in would like a role model or someone that they look up to. So I think they would like someone that was already here or has been here a while.
Jack?
Yeah, I agree with Hayes. Not saying that they're not responsible, but I think it'd also be better until we find out more about them. Then it'd probably also be better for them because if they get on the spotlight and we think we know anything about them, and it turns out we don't, then that could happen.
It's why people run presidential campaigns run a long time, so people get to know the president. So we've got to have an equity issue, and it's going to be up to you guys to decide how long it is. But the election shouldn't be tomorrow, and it probably shouldn't be a year from now. It's somewhere in between. So you have to decide what's fair for everyone to get to know each other, and how well are running partners affirming and bringing people up to speed, not telling them, but Socratically leading them. So, who am I? Finding these things out. What promises must be kept? Learning community, core skills, projects and quests, apprenticeships and learning badges, the things you have to promise and do to lead to a portfolio. As you're working, you guys talked about the importance of community and friends, creating all of this. to find your calling. What are you going to say? People say about you at the end? Not that you ran, but that you stood and fought, that you had the courage. What struggles and opportunities might help you find that calling? Learning to fail early, cheaply, and often. And so you can answer these three really important questions. Because as you go out and talk to older people that are near the end of life, you'll find they'll ask the same three things. Did I accomplish something meaningful? Was I a good person? And who did I love and who loved me? So our goal is to equip you for a hero's journey where at the end of life, you didn't run, you didn't have any regrets, and you answer all three of these questions and say, I did accomplish something meaningful, I was a good person, and there were lots of people I loved who loved me. Pace.
I'll say it later. It's kind of off topic.
Great Socratic process so far, by the way, guys. Listening, building, evidence. We'll be not only meeting in groups of 24 very infrequently. Usually we're meeting in groups in teams of 12 or in discussion groups of 8 so everybody gets more of a chance to talk. But so far, really amazing process. All right, so you ready for the first fun task for today? I'm just a guy. What do you think?
What about con?
Yeah, they changed all.
Mister. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm saying that it's a little bit more confusing. Because they took rates 1 and 2, moved it to a whole another category. Most of the skills I have aren't there anymore.
So one thing I can tell you is that there's a schedule over on the wall, and since you can't see it from here, I'll just give you a preview today. You can go look. Most days I will tell you you can go look. The schedule's right over there underneath the clock, and the schedule says this morning's going to be projects, and this afternoon is going to be core skills. So that might give you a clue of when we might delve into the content.
I've got bigger skills moving on.
So con will be a topic, and core skills will be a topic this afternoon. Okay.
Cons also, I noticed that cons is adding more and more skills like every month or two, and I was having trouble with that because I kept readjusting my goal.
You're really excited because you're afraid you were running out of skills to do.
No.
I know.
I don't think that's possible.
So,
I'm wondering what I should do with that.
we're going to have a discussion about that this afternoon, and it's a really good question.
Because they added 30 more skills like a week before the school started, and I was like,
Yeah. So we're going to have a discussion about that this afternoon. Are you ready for the first project this morning? All right. So, this is called Breaking the Ice, and I'm going to give you just a quick overview launch. Imagine this. You're about to go on an exciting journey with a hand-picked group of heroes. The future of the planet may depend on how well you work together, and especially how well you can motivate each other to work hard and have fun. Will you do anything possible to learn as much about your fellow travelers as possible, as soon as possible? So here's your chance. And I have, in just a moment, the game rules. But I'll lay them out for you, and then each of you can take one of these and it will tell you. So, here's the game rules. You're going to, a bell is going to ring as soon as you've gotten these and have a minute to read. When the first bell rings, you're going to have 10 minutes, and this is all on here, I'm just covering it, 10 minutes to choose one or more what motivates a hero question. They're all on that wall over there. You're going to take that question, and when the bell rings again, you're going to grab your portfolio board, one on your desk, and you'll have, and find someone who you don't already know well, whose portfolio board it intrigues you. So you're going to take your board, and I may come up and say, hey, Sarah, I want to do, can we talk? So I like your board, you like my board. And then you're going to ask a personal question, and there's some examples on here, but you can ask your own question. One of them is, who are your top 3 heroes, and what do you admire about them? Why did you choose Acton Academy for your hero's journey? What one word best describes how you're feeling about Acton? Or you may see something on the board you want to ask. ask. What's your favorite sport? Or, so you're going to ask one personal question and one question about motivation. You get to have that exchange for a total of 5 minutes, and the bell's going to ring again, and you're going to swap. If you were doing the questioning, the person you're talking to is going to do it. You're going to do that once, so Sarah and I will do it. Then I'll pick someone else, I might pick Mason. Mason and I might do it. And then I'm going to pick someone else, I might pick Ellery, and we're going to do it 3 times total, 5 minutes each person. And when the bell rings, you'll switch. But you want to ask them some motivation question and some personal question of someone you don't know well.
Could you make your own question if it's relevant to that page?
I'm just a guy.
Yes.
So, I will pass these out. I'll give you a minute to kind of reread them. And then when we ring the bell, you'll have 10 minutes to come up with a question.
Jeff, are we circling back up as a group for a certain time?
I'm sorry.
Are we circling back up as a group?
Yeah, at the end, we're going to circle back.